after nearly 5 years without an arrest and no major developments, we have new details tonight on what finally led the FBI to the man suspected of leaving pipe bombs here in Washington the night before the 2021 Capitol riot. Brian Cole Jr. is the Virginia man who has now been charged with planting these pipe bombs near both the Republican and the Democratic National Committee headquarters on January 5th, 2021. He's a 30-year-old suspect who is now facing 2 charges related to transporting and attempting to use explosives. According to this charging document tonight, investigators linked Cole to this crime through his past purchases of bomb-making equipment, cell phone records that pinned his location to near where those bombs were left, and a license plate reader that caught Cole's car around where the suspect had been, caught on camera. It's still unclear tonight what his motives were. The investigation is still going on. But as law enforcement officials were searching his home today, some of them dressed in hazmat suits, the Attorney General Pam Bondi announced that more charges could be coming, as she also slammed the Biden Justice Department for failing to make this arrest sooner.
The FBI, along with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our prosecutors, have worked tirelessly for months, sifting through evidence that had been sitting at the FBI with the Biden administration for 4 long years. Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work.
My law enforcement source tonight is the former deputy director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe. And obviously they were going through so much video here. I mean, they were even down to the Nike shoes he was wearing and where those were sold, how many people bought them. There were fewer than 25,000 pairs actually sold around the time that these bombs were placed. What do you think it is that finally led them to Brian Cole Jr. here tonight?
So during the press conference, they made some kind of coy allusions to an aha moment, but they haven't shared that with us yet. What we do know from the indictment is what the Bureau did here was like a masterful job of processing a ton of data and cross-correlating that data to ultimately come up with a population of suspects, right? So they broke down the devices themselves into the component parts, found where all those parts could possibly have been sold, got the data from all those sales, and started comparing who bought these pipes and these end caps and these battery connector wires. And when you layer all those different factors on top of each other, you go from a very large number of people down to a very manageable one. And that is likely what brought them to Mr. Cole's front door.
Is it surprising to you that it took this long to find him? I mean, they were really critical of the Biden DOJ today and said, you know, all this evidence was there when they were here. They weren't moving on this. Evan Perez said slightly differently that they had still been working on it. It's not like they had just left it there. But what do you make of that? Do you think that they could have located him sooner?
No, I think if they could have located him sooner, they would have. Locating somebody quickly usually relies on a fair amount of luck, and they didn't have any luck with this case. You saw the videos. The person in those videos is unrecognizable. There's no clear like facial details that you could use for biometric identification, that sort of thing. So they didn't have a lot to work with in the beginning. These cases sometimes go into a very long, detail-oriented investigation. The Unabomber, classic example. From his first bomb in 1978 until his last, 18 years before that investigation spanned 18 years before he was arrested. So these can be very tedious, long cases.
Yeah, and the timing obviously does matter because in the indictment, it accuses him of still buying that bomb-making equipment weeks after he placed these bombs. But Dan Bongino spoke today. He is in the job that you formerly had. I want you to listen to something that he just said less than a year ago, back in January, about where this suspect was.
I believe the FBI knows the identity of this pipe bomber on January 6th, 4 years ago, and just doesn't want to tell us because it was an inside job. It's going to be the biggest scandal in FBI history.
Those were not sentiments that he repeated today.
No, I mean, outrageous and ridiculous, I should say. Also insulting to the men and women of the Bureau who do this work. I will give him some credit, though, for maybe returning a sense of urgency to this case. There's been a lot of reporting that he's been very focused on this since he went back. That's a good thing. I hope maybe during the course of his hands-on involvement in the case. He apologized to the people that have been working the case from day one. Some of the political comments today from the press conference I thought were not just inappropriate, but also demeaning to those people who have been working the case since it started on January 6th. But at the end of the day, I'm sure they're all just proud of a great result today.
Yeah, I mean, it's really remarkable, this development here. Andrew McCabe, great to have you here, especially given your expertise in this. Thank you so much. And up next, we are out with the old and what sources are telling us about the new architect who is now in charge of President Trump's vision for his ever-expanding ballroom. You see that giant crane that is over my shoulder? That's the latest addition to the construction zone here at the White House, where President Trump's ballroom is going to go eventually.
Get more laughs with Have I Got News for Your Ears, hosted by me, Michael Ian Black.
Royal Match.
Honey, have you seen this minigame in Royal Match?